Mhm. Yes. Hello, everyone. Apologies, there was just a little bit of sound with that one, but there was just some background music and we couldn't get that to play. But can you hear my voice? Comment yes in the comments. If you could just use the comments in the chat, that would be amazing, and just stay muted. That would be awesome. We are here, our team is called Collective Co, and we are here to talk about perimenopause. We'll also be talking about the 3 stages of menopause actually tonight, and it's a real talk, real results. We've got some amazing ladies here to share tonight. We've got Sharon, Alli, Kylie, and Andrea all here to share with you tonight. And I think you're going to be really, really impressed by what you hear, not just stories, not just results, but some real education for you. So, my name is Nikki. I've been with the company for 11 years, and I have mentored hundreds, probably even thousands of women, not just with their health, but also in the business. So, you have 2 choices with this. But I'm so passionate about helping women, and I help men too, but let's just say I help mainly women. I am so passionate about helping women through this period of their lives, particularly because mental health is a big thing for me. And a lot of women through this perimenopausal stage really experience a lot of mental health issues. And for me, that's a real passion point. Also, I have had since I was 14 endometriosis, and so that was a huge thing for me. And these products have done some real amazing things for my endometriosis. So I'm going to introduce you to Sharon, who is a registered nurse and midwife. And I've known Sharon for over 10 years now, but Sharon has extensive experience in and a real passion for helping women with their health, with their wellness. She doesn't mind talking about women's bits. She is quite open to doing it. So if she drops the V word or something like that, don't be surprised. But that's what she does for a living. And she walks people through these stages of life, through perimenopause, through menopause, helping them understand their bodies, balance their hormones, but helping you thrive and understand what's going on. So many people just do not understand it. And we've done similar presentations, and so many women have come out and said, I didn't even know that this was a thing. And because there isn't enough education out there, and that's what Sharon loves to do. So, Sharon, if you can unmute yourself, I think you are going to take the ladies through a little bit about what is menopause.
Okay, so we hear about menopause all the time, and often we'll hear about things like hot flushes, and that's, the main thing, and maybe a bit of mood swings. That's about it. But to define menopause, it's the end of our cycle. So we when we start having periods as teenagers, that's called menarche, and then at the end it's called menopause. So that's the whole cycle of what happens. And it's a sad time for a lot of people because that's the end of their reproductive era. Some people welcome that. So we have there are three stages. So pre-menopause, life is ticking along normally. If you've had painful periods, endometriosis, anything like that, this is going to continue during your pre-menopause because life is how it has been since you're a teenager. Not a lot of changes going on. Um, Maybe you'll start to get a little bit of irregularity. That's about it. Now, perimenopause. Now, this is really the big turning point. Um, I'm a nurse and a midwife, and I didn't even know I wasn't a nurse and a midwife when I started going through perimenopause, and I've pretty much only worked it out after the fact because no one talks about perimenopause, or they ask. I'm starting to hear about it now, but at the time people weren't talking about it. So it's well before you finish having your periods. The average age is about 52 for menopause, which is the next stage. But perimenopause is this tumultuous, could be 10 years that you're going through all these hormonal changes. So our changes are going up and down, and our hormones. So we know every cycle, there's the rise and fall of our hormones that make us have a period, and this can bring about a lot of emotional turmoil too. Some people suffer very badly from all these hormonal changes. You can be very tearful, and during the perimenopause stage, this is very marked, and you may not realize it because you're going through it yourself. And I kind of realized it looking back because I thought I was going crazy. I thought I was having a mental breakdown. And that's definitely what it felt like. I had a lot of anxiety. Um, yeah, life was just terrible. There was depression as well. I didn't feel like I could cope with anything. But instead of just falling into that trap, in my usual crazy fashion, I took the bull by the horns and started a whole new career and threw myself into a grad year as a midwife, and just brought the pressure on myself so much worse during this stage. So, there was times where I wanted to throat punch people. So this is all part of the build up to things changing. So when we get to menopause, that's when we've stopped. Our ovaries are no longer releasing eggs, and it needs to be, to officially have hit menopause, it needs to be 12 months since your last period. So um, during the perimenopause, you have, sometimes your periods will become very irregular, even if they've been regular up until that point. But once it's declared menopause, that is the 12 months without a period. Now, I just want to point out that if anyone has a bleed after the 12 months, you need to go and see your GP straight away, because that's considered abnormal, and we just want to make sure that nothing else is going on. All right, so you may have experienced some of these stages of menopause. Our 7 stages: itchy, bitchy, scratchy, sweaty, bloated, forgetful, psycho. Now, I've got to say, I've had all of that. And there are 34 symptoms that we've listed here, and that's not even all of them. So, who has heard about hot flushes? That's what we call them here in Australia. In the US, they call them flashes. Has anyone experienced those? If you could just write in the chat so we can get an idea of who's been the lucky recipient of those things. Yes, yes, yes. We've got lots of people saying yes. So that is one of our most common. So yeah, there's lots of people that are having flushes. Night sweats. You wake up in the middle of the night and you're just soaking wet. I've heard of people wanting to run outside in the snow in their undies because they are just roasting. Weight gain. Who doesn't know about the middle-age spread? It's so annoying. All the things us poor women have to go through, and weight gain. Like, I never had to worry about my weight growing up. And now my weight is still up and down like a yo-yo. And we'll talk a bit more about why that is in a bit later. Mood swings. We know about mood swings, but yeah, that wanting to throat punch people, that was a real thing. I really was very upset about all of that sort of stuff. Now, I'll skip down to a few more a bit later. Insomnia, lots of people are waking up at 3 a.m. And their brain just won't turn off. Your breasts can have issues. Brittle nails, nausea, pins and needles, hair thinning. There's so many more. Now, I will talk about reduced libido. So, in the midst of all this craziness, you don't feel like you have that sexual desire anymore. And there could be physical things that go with that as well, such as vaginal dryness. So there you go, Nikki, I've said vagina. Woohoo! But there are other things that aren't normally talked about because people don't often talk about their bits. So not only do you get dryness, so your body's no longer lubricating in the way that it did, so that can cause issues with sexual intercourse, but your physical, like your labia and everything else, it starts to thin, and you can get some pain as well. So not only is it feeling uncomfortable because there's no lubrication, which we can always use plenty of lube, and people will say that's the way to go, but you could be getting some sort of pain sensation as well because of the atrophication of your vaginal bits. So I don't want to go into too much detail about that. I'm just looking at other things on our list. Yeah. So, all right, let's go on. Other people can talk about other symptoms as well. So let's talk about our hormones. So everybody has those 3 hormones. So cortisol. Now, we do see, if you look on Facebook, and if you're a woman of a certain age, all these ads come up saying about cortisol, urine cortisol, all this cortisol going. So it is a stress hormone, but without it, we are in dire straits. So it's got to do with how our body reacts, and at times we need our cortisol to kick in to get us moving. So it's part of our flight, fight, and fight hormone. So it stops. So when we need to get moving, like we're in physical danger, our body floods with cortisol, and it gets all the sugar getting into our blood, and we can run. We can run away from danger, and you will run the fastest you've ever run if you are in, true danger. The other thing that happens, I've lost my train of thought. I am in the middle of night shift, so that happens as well, bit of night shift brain. So that if we've got cortisol going crazy through our bodies, that's going to increase our blood pressure. So it's going to change the way we sleep. We need our body to be relaxed. Now, anecdotally, I can look back and think about things that were happening. So when I thought I was going crazy, the next year I started my grad year, I would go to sleep okay, but I would wake up shortly afterwards feeling that absolute dread. My heart rate was racing, and I felt like someone had died, and I wasn't sure if it was me. Like it was just such a crazy sensation. It was really a very challenging time. So if we've got cortisol going on all the time, our body we don't digest our food because all the sugar, the blood sugar is released and it's getting us going, but it's not digesting our food. So we need to slow our body down, get calm. Now, part of this is thinking about how much caffeine that you take in as well. I know in the past, I drank 1.5 liters of Coke when I was, first at uni. I was so tired. I'd have the Coke to, it had the sugar and the caffeine to perk me up. But that was short lived. And then I'd have that insulin rush and I'd just fade again as well. So what we need to do is try and get our cortisol levels so they're not always elevated. All right, so high cortisol levels may lead to adrenal fatigue or burnout. So how many people feel like they have burnout? You're always tired, you're struggling to do things. Yeah, I'm just reading through some of the comments as well. Anxiety, so, what that cortisol is, that anxiety thing as well, like we're looking out for danger. All right, the next thing that happens is our estrogen drops. Now, estrogen has a very protective factor. It helps our bodies to reduce inflammation, has an overall feeling of emotional well-being. So once we hit menopause and our estrogen is down in our boots, we can really start to feel like crap. So you can do some things like take some HRT, but what are the long-term effects of those? And we need to be a bit careful about that. So the other protective factor that estrogen has is that it helps with our bone density. So once we've hit menopause, we are at risk of osteoporosis. And this is our friend estrogen that has disappeared, and so has our moisturized, stretchy, and perfused vagina. So that's what I was talking about a little bit before. So estrogen is our hormone that affects that, and that's why you can naturally have a drop in your sex drive as you move through menopause. And progesterone. So progesterone is our little friend that we have our peaks and troughs during our menstrual cycles with estrogen and progesterone. And progesterone is the one that is called our pregnancy hormone. So during our reproductive years, it's making sure that our body's prepared to nurture any any baby that we might have conceived. So once our progesterone has finished doing its job, we're no longer producing babies, we're no longer releasing eggs every month. Again, it affects our bone density. We might get migraines and mood changes. So that was pretty much all I wanted to say about that.
Thank you so much, Sharon. I really find it really interesting. There were so many people that I've met along the way who didn't realize that there were different stages of menopause. I was one of them. I thought there was just menopause, and then I learned as I was, exposed to this company and these products that there was this pre-menopause and post-menopause and perimenopause. And so, yeah, if this is something that you've learned something from this, let me know in the comments. That would be really great. And thank you to Sharon for sharing this. So Sharon talked about something called HRT, which is something that you can get from your doctor. But there's also so much research that goes into natural products, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And we are with a company called PartnerCo. We are a health and wellness company that provides natural solutions, which a lot of people are looking for that because they're scared of putting medication into their body. They're scared of the side effects, and a lot of people are looking for a natural approach. So I'm just going to talk about two of our products tonight, and I kind of call them our menopause duo. Like 99% of the women that I help take these two products because most of the women that I help come to me and they've got some kind of menopausal or hormonal symptoms. Normally, they're tired, they're not sleeping that well, they maybe have, a bit of depression, a bit of an anxiety. They're looking for a bit of that calmness. Uh, Maybe there's a bit of weight. Now, it might be that you have tried everything. Has anyone been in the position where you eat well, you exercise, you do everything that you think that you're meant to be doing, and you can't budge weight? You can't understand. You're like, I have not changed anything, but there is weight that has come and I don't know where it's come from. This could be hormonal weight, and this is where our day and night drops come in, and it's all about hormone balancing. And what I love about this program, it's a program, it is really different because there are a lot of programs on the market, and we get compared a lot to things like Ozempic and Mounjaro and what's the other one? I've lost my thought now. There's one more. We get compared a lot to the injections. And we have a lot of people come to us. I can see people on this Zoom who've had the gastric sleeve, for example. Wegovy, that's it. Yeah. We get a lot of people that come to us after or Saxenda is another one. Yep. A lot of people come to us after the gastric sleeve as well. Now, in terms of comparing us to the injections, the thing with these drops, what they do is they don't just target things like your cravings. So for example, with the injections, they're going to target your appetite for sure. They're going to make you have less of an appetite, and they're going to slow down things. They're going to actually slow down your digestion. That's what they do. They don't actually speed up your digestion where ours will. Ours will speed up your metabolism. We want our metabolism actually moving quicker. I had someone the other day who actually said, I never used to be hungry. Now that I take the drops, I'm hungry. And I'm like, fantastic. And she's like, but isn't that going to make me put on weight? And I'm like, no. What kind of food are you craving now? And she said, oh, well, I'm craving actually healthier foods. So see, there you go. We've actually adjusted what you're craving. So that is, a lot of people call these drops liquid willpower because you start craving different kinds of food, less sugary foods and less junk food. And you just notice that you eat less. You just do. You don't eat as much on these drops. Let me know in the chat if you've taken these drops before. What are you noticing has changed? There's plenty of people on this group that have actually used these drops before. What have you noticed is the difference? Stress is a big one. Now, these injections that people are getting do not target stress. The gastric sleeve does not target stress. Now, Sharon spoke about cortisol before. It is so important that we try and keep our cortisol in check. Now, when you have high levels of cortisol, yes, we basically have our fight, flight, freeze. Now, we don't want to stay in that fight response all the time because our cortisol rises and adrenaline kind of right. And that's where people go and lift cars off their children, and but if you stay like that, if your cortisol's high, so if you're running around after children and you're trying to do the job of 5 people at your work because this is what's expected of people these days at work, your stress is high. And this is where people get what they call that cortisol belly, the belly fat that goes around your belly, or the round face, the cortisol face. What these drops do is they're proven to actually reduce your stress levels, bring that cortisol down. That's what we do. And so I can see here someone actually saying here that they're finding that they're feeling more calm and mood here. So this is the drops actually helping that. So what you'll see here is that the drops are not just there to suppress appetite. What they are doing is targeting, resetting, and balancing our hormones. So we've got hormones, for example, called ghrelin and leptin. They're our hunger hormones that say, I'm hungry or I'm full. They actually kind of go to sleep and get lazy. So what we want to do is get them working again. And you will find that you are eating and then you just go, do you know what? I'm full. I'm satisfied. And you'll just know when enough is enough. And Andrea is going to speak shortly, but she was saying the other day that, oh, the kids got KFC, and she said, I think she had one chip. She didn't feel like it, because she just didn't feel like it. The drops change the way you think about food. So your body just starts working better. So the other things that you can take, I'm not saying don't take what your doctors are saying, but just look at the side effects, because sometimes you can take things that stop your body from actually doing what it's meant to do. What these products do is make your body do what it's naturally meant to do, and that is awaken, reset, and balance things. Now, Elite is the second product in this duo, and it's an amazing product. It's often called the pink drink. It's about body, brain, and beauty. It's a blueberry pomegranate flavor. It's absolutely amazing. It's a herbal adaptogen drink, and it's made up of these as amazing super herbs, and it goes into each person's body and does what each person needs it to do. So it adapts to whatever you need. Now, calmness, better sleep, fantastic for anything hormonal like the PCOS or PCOS or the endometriosis, those kind of hormonal things. It's really, really great for that. The ashwagandha in it is a mood food. So depression, anxiety, any of those mood disorders. I have depression, anxiety. I live off this Elite. I absolutely love it and swear by it. It's got L-lysine in it, which is so, so good for cold sores. So many people swear by it. But when you combine these two products together, it is absolutely insane what it does for your body. So what we're going to do is I'm going to share three beautiful ladies. They're a little bit nervous, so I want you to give them some love in the chat. So firstly, we've got Andrea. So if Andrea can unmute. Andrea has lost an incredible 27.4 4 kilos. And you can see the difference. I took that aftershot myself. So, Andrea, can you share a little bit of your story?
Sure. Well, that aftershot is actually when I'd only lost 18 kilos. So I've lost nearly another 10 kilos since that photo. Um, I was, I think I was 48 when I went into the premenopausal stage, and it was shit. Like, sorry,
Okay.
I'm a single mum. It's just me and the kids, and it's just, you just keep trying, and to add anything else to your life that can like throw you a curveball is just crap. Like, your periods, I was getting periods every 3 months, and then I'd get none, and then I'd get one, and I was thinking, went to my doctor, and she kept saying, you'll get your premenopausal, and I'm like, okay, cool. What does that mean? Like, I didn't know, because my mum had breast cancer at 45 when she was supposed to have been going through menopause, so I couldn't ask her because she didn't know because she was doing chemo and stuff. So I had no guidance. My sister's only 14 months older than me, and she wasn't going through it either. So I was just like, okay. So I looked it up and I tried every weight loss product on the market. I'm talking every single one of them. Still got cupboard full of half used products. And then about 8 of my friends had the gastric sleeve. A couple went on the Ozempic, a couple went on whatever other drugs. And I just thought, I hate needles and I don't want to have surgery because I love food. I'm a foodie. But I knew that my relationship with food wasn't healthy. And then all of a sudden, I think it was September 2022, was my last period. Or was it 23? It might have been 23, sorry. And then, yeah, I didn't have a period for a year, and I'm thinking, okay, this is it. This is menopause. So I thought, I've got to get my gut health right, because I read up on all this stuff, hormones and gut health and all these things. So I was going through everything, and I was yelling at the kids more. I was just depressed. I was not sleeping. I was awake every hour peeing, every hour, every 2 hours, just going to the toilet. So I wasn't getting sleep. So I was grumpy, I was moody, and the kids were the ones that suffered. And that's heartbreaking enough. As a single mum, you can't take it out on your kids, but I was. Not on purpose, just everything got me like tenfold. I was just so angry and depressed and sad, and I'd cry watching a TV commercial. Like, I was just a mess, and I went to my doctor, and he put me on, a low dose of antidepressants, and he said, "Let's try Ozempic," and I'm like, "Are you serious?"
Mm.
I said, "I don't really want to." So I was on it for 6 weeks, and I felt like crap. I had diarrhea, I had headaches, I felt nauseous all the time. I thought, nah, this isn't for me. Well, then I found Nikki, and I found the drops. I was very resilient at the time, she'll tell you.
Not resilient, reluctant, and difficult.
I'm difficult. I just, as I said, I've tried it. I tried everything, and I thought, well, what makes this different? And I said, okay. And I usually buy stuff and I give it a 3 months go. So I gave the drops. I bought 3 months worth, and I gave it a go and lost, I think, 7 or 10 kilos in the first 3 months. And I was sleeping 6 to 8 hours a night. Like, you can't lose weight and be a healthy, happy person without sleep. And that's probably the biggest thing for me, was sleeping without waking up every hour or two to pee. Like, I know that's minimal, but it was one of my symptoms. I never had the hot sweats, but I had the hot flushes. Like, I'd sit here, but I live in Queensland, so I always thought it was to do with the temperature because it was summer. So, and the headaches and the mood swings and the emotions were running wild. And sleep is just so important. And once I was getting sleep, and the food noise, I had no food noise. Like, I was scared to try anything in case I had to give up potatoes and pasta. Like, that was my biggest fear because they were my crutch food. And chocolate, yes. I was more of a potato girl. Potato in any form, pretty much. I loved it. Hence why I got to that size in the grey shirt on the screen, because I just love food, and I just filled my face with it because I was eating my emotions. I was just, yeah, I wasn't a very nice person, I didn't think. I can look back and say that now. But yeah, thank God for the drops. Like I wouldn't be where I am today without them. It's just amazing.
I love
So thank you, Nikki.
I love your story, and and you were right. She did buy a 3-pack at the start and said, "Well, I'm going to give this 90 days," but geez, she gave me hell. I'll tell you, she was difficult. But the results have been amazing. Like, and you're still going. You're still on your journey, aren't you?
Yeah, officially I started in April. Like I went full, like I think I signed up under you in November, but I started with the Elite and I sort of felt a bit better and I thought, oh, this shit really works. Oh my God. But it wasn't until April that I went, okay, and that's when I went on full on. So April last year, I think it was the 15th or 18th, I went full on drops. And yeah, here I am nearly a year later and I've nearly lost 30 kilos and I feel amazing. Like I always say, I feel like I'm a 30-year-old again without my period. And I don't know if you can relate with that with you just feel more energetic, more alive, more you're sleeping, you're eating, you're craving healthy food. Like someone said to me, if you could have any food you want right this minute, what would you have? And I said Caesar salad.
Mm,
And she looked at me, she goes, but it was always KFC.
mm,
I said, that was the old me.
yeah.
If I have KFC now, I get the biggest gut ache and I'm on the loo. So no thanks.
No, it's fantastic, Andrea. Thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing.
That's okay. Thanks for having me and getting me signed up.
And then we have the beautiful Kylie, also from Queensland. Can you unmute, Kylie?
Hi,
Hi. Can you tell us about your journey with the products?
I sure can. So initially, I started taking these products because I thought I was going insane. I was cranky. I'd be sad one minute and cranky the next. I'm a hairdresser by trade, so I've always been really social and outgoing. And I was ready to give up my job. I didn't want to be around pool anymore. I didn't even really like going out of the house unless I was going to work. That was kind of time I would go and do anything, which is, if you knew me, was very unlike me. I also, I'll touch on because Sharon had broken the ice on the whole libido thing. I was really disliking my husband, which is really bad because of my husband. I didn't want him to touch. I didn't want him anywhere near him. My libido was like non-existent. And it wasn't until I think I'd run the first month of drops and they taking lead as well. And it was the second month I was like, hey, shit, like I actually messaged me and I said, far out. Like, obviously it was my hormones that were playing with me because I was ready to change careers, divorce my husband. I kind of think now back to when I was feeling like I actually wanted to jump in a car and just run away and go away even from my children. I have children. Even though children drive you mad sometimes, it's not normal to feel like that. And of course, bonus, I lost 11 kilos also. But yeah, obviously it's definitely saved my marriage and my life. And I don't think I'll ever stop taking them because it's just made a massive difference. And also now my husband's taking them too, which is amazing. And he's feeling better and blood pressure was starting to go up and it's pretty perfect. So like I just don't know where I'd be without them. So I'm feeling very thankful. Great.
I actually love Kylie's story because, libido is not something that, people talk openly about. But yeah, Kylie at the beginning was, didn't mention anything like that. But then now she sends me pictures of her husband all the time. One, because she's in love with her husband, but secondly, because he's using the products and he's losing all this weight. And you should see the difference in her husband. He looks amazing. So Yeah, go you two. It's awesome, Kylie.
Thank you.
And lastly, we've got Alli. So Alli is from regional Victoria and has lost 18 kilos as well. So Alli, if you could share your story with us, that would be amazing.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm Alli. I was going insane. So I've tried all the over-the-counter medications, all the natural things that they say were natural, and wasn't getting anywhere. I've tried the Duramind, those other drops that um, apparently were supposed to get rid of your food noise and everything. I've tried all that. I did all that. I've been through, everything I could find. So I resorted to Facebook. I did a bit of stalking, and I come across this lady called Nikki, and okay, I'm scrolling, reading through all their stuff, and I'm like, this can't be true. So I clicked on a few other pages to, that were linked to her, and like, oh yeah, they're all saying the same thing. And she had a um, what do you call it? A
Raffle.
raffle. That's it. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a bit tired. I've been working all day. I had a raffle going, and I thought, oh, well, why not? So I jumped in the raffle, and lo and behold, guess what I won? I won myself a set of drops, and I have not looked back since. So, because I asked Nikki a gazillion questions, what do they do? How do they work? What do they cover? And she asked me a few simple questions like what do I want to get out of this? And what were my symptoms, and of those 34 or whatever symptoms we had up before, yeah, I was ticking every single box. And even just other symptoms like because I got a lot of hair. I was losing hair left, right, and center, handfuls of hair. I was just not feeling right. I was cranky, tired, and just did not feel myself. Like I was me, but I wasn't me, if that made sense. If you've been in that situation, you'll understand what I mean when you don't feel yourself. Like, yes, you're basically in survival mode. So yeah, like my hair now, as you can see, is full and fluffy, and has its own mind and does its thing. But yeah, these drops are absolutely life changing. Like I feel amazing. I'm running around after my son. I can work a lot more hours because I, have so much more energy. And yeah, the weight loss was an awesome side effect. It was. I didn't do it for the weight loss. I did it for the hormones because I knew I wasn't right. Something wasn't clicking right. So I've have not looked back. And the elite, life changer. Absolutely love it. The energy, like, because I started as a customer with Nikki, and because I was already working full time mum as well, partner, house, all the things we have. And I was posting Nikki, photo of me drinking my elite while I'm out on the road while I was repping. And she goes, honey, you're already advertising, you should become a brand partner. So I'm like, well, tell me all about it. The rest is history. So yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. So, as I have said earlier, we are Collective Co. We are a part of Partner Co, our broader company. We have so many products to offer, all in the health and wellness space. We've only spoken on 2 of them tonight. I want to thank Sharon for sharing her knowledge on all things menopause. Thank you to Andrea, Kylie, and Alli for being vulnerable, for sharing their stories, for letting us put their before and afters up. And they're all on a journey, and we are all on a journey. Some of us are not at the end of it yet, because this isn't, as you heard, about, okay, I've started here and this is the end and see you later. Every one of us is on this. It's a health journey. It's kind of a lifestyle thing for us, So I don't think it's an after picture well, I don't sort of see that for me, like it's an after picture. It's a journey. And there's 2 ways that you can get your products from us, and that's what I love, that this company gives you choice. You can go back to the person who has showed you this and just ask them to give you a customer option where they can buy the products, where you can buy the products as a customer. And it's just like buying from Amazon or Kmart or anything like that. They can just send you a link and you can buy it from their website. So simple. It just gets sent direct to your door. Or you can, like Alli said, start as a customer, or you can turn and come straight in as a brand partner where you can be part of our team, and we can help you get a cheaper price, and also you can help other people like we do as well. So lots of different options, but I hope this has given you some information, some education, some understanding about how these products work, and also some inspiration to don't just settle for feeling ordinary, that you have to feel this way. There is Every day is so important to make the most of it. You don't have to feel like crap. You shouldn't feel like that. You should actually have energy. You should be sleeping well. Yeah, okay, you have a bad night or something like that, but it is not normal to wake up and feel fatigued every day. It is not normal to have headaches every single day. It is not normal for lots and lots of hair to be falling out. It is not normal for you to have no libido. There is something there. So if you just don't feel right, get some sort of solution, whether it's ours or something else. Go and take, the solution into your own hands, and start doing some research and wanting more out of life. So thank you, and I hope this has given you something to think about. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Nikki.